In this module, we're going to discuss how to comp a property. Very important because you want to compare properties to recently sold properties in the area. And I'm going to show you a few examples in a few different markets. So I'm going to start in Lehigh Acres, Florida because I'm very familiar with it. So when you're comping a property, there's a couple different things you need to look for. One, the most important for me is location. Two, if the property has utilities. And three, how much is going to cost to make a property build ready. That means number one, removing any vegetation. Number two is leveling the foundation. Number three is putting dirt fill to elevate the property. And then septic or well if it requires that. What are the impact fees of the area? An impact fee is when you're about to build a property, you have to pay an impact fee or a tax to the county or the city to have permission to build the property there. Usually in most states and most counties, you only have to do this once. So for example, let's say it's a tear down, you don't have to build it, buy it or put an impact fee. So, those are the other costs when buying a piece of vacant land. So Lehigh Acres, I'm very familiar with it, and I'm going to use a couple different other counties in Florida, and maybe some bigger parcels as well. So the tool you should have downloaded in the beginning is this Pebble tool, is a Chrome extension. So I'm going to do a couple of different things. In Lee County, there's a couple zip codes. They're broken out zip codes. So in other counties, it might be broken out if they have utilities or not. But here, the reason I'm doing this area is because they have addresses, so it's easier to quantify this lesson. So there's 33972. There's a lot of half acres and quarter acres. There's 33974, a lot of quarter acres. 33976, quarter acres, and then 33973. They're quarter acres, but they're also mostly multifamily. So there's a different combination of stuff. But when you look at properties, you want to look at the properties in their specific area. So and then their exact size. So you want to compare apples to apples. And I'm going to show you how to use that using the Pebble tool. So when you comp something at 33973, you don't want to compare it to 33974 because they're in different locations and the pricing varies. Any realtor or anybody worth their salt would know that location could change price significantly depending where it's at. If you have a realtor that says, hey, this property here is worth the same as this, no, right? Location makes a huge difference. So let's just do 33976. You want to do for sale, you want to do vacant lots of land, and I'm going to show you this right now, but let's do for sale. Let's see the average for sale price. I'm going to clear all. I'm going to save all. Oh yeah, scroll down. Obviously scroll down because it captures this. And then save all. There's 41 up here. So there's 5 pages. There's more than 41, but captures the first 41. Right? You can also sort it by price, high, low, newest. You can sort it by different variations, but it's going to capture the first 41. So the median price, which you should always use median price. Average price could be very misleading. So the reason average price could be misleading is because there might be outliers, and that's included in the average price. In the median price, there's not really outliers. It just goes to the middle, so it kind of removes the outliers. So in this case, the median and average are very similar. And the price per acre, because these are quarter acres, are around $128,000 per acre. So for this specific location, it's, decently high compared to other locations. But let's do something even more. Let's get more granular. So in your assessment, when you do more, you want to make sure they're all the same. So let's do 7,000 square feet to quarter acre. Apply. So it removes everything that's outliers. I'm going to go and then clear all, scroll all the way down to make sure I capture everything, and then I save all. So it's about the same. So this is how you determine the average for sale cost. This is just to get a basis point, but you want to see the average comps. So that's what's being sold. So you see all these properties, the average for sale cost is 32,000. So if you see this 40,000, these are outliers. You know, they're too high. If you see these 26, 25, they're in a better situation. Okay? So I'm going to do sold. I'm going to apply this, and I want to filter this in two different definitions, right? Or timelines. I'm going to do 30 days first. There's not that many, so I'm going to clear all. I'm going to scroll all the way down, go all the way back up, and then save all. So the median price, you see how the average moved up? Because there's some outliers. Sometimes when a person sells two properties, like right here, this is a huge outlier. This is probably a house, but that was marked as vacant land. Or maybe a couple pieces of land were sold at the same time by the same owner, and they put just the combined price. They didn't put the individual price. Sometimes that happens. So like I'm going to say it again. Sometimes if there's vacant lots, if an owner sold two lots at the same time to another owner, on Zillow they'll have it as one price. So they'll have for like $60,000 if they sold two lots. But the median price is $29,000. Okay? This is kind of a 30-day sample size, so this is most recent. And we want to go to a 90-day sample size. Apply. You want to clear all. You want to scroll all the way down. Right? And let's sort it by newest. Right? And then let's do it again. Save all. So it's still around $29,000. Let's do it by, did they have oldest? No. Let's do low to high. Scroll all the way down. Clear all, save all. So these are the lower end ones. So this one sold for 15,000, for 16,000. These people got deals. 25, 25. They sold on the market too, which is crazy. You see, so it makes a big difference. I'm going to do page 2, save all, and then we're going to do page 1, save all. So it's still around 29,000 for, there's 115 results. I'm not sure why they didn't capture it. I'm going to do it again, save all. So I'm going to clear this, and let's do page by page. So this one has save all, 41. Page 2, save all, 50. Let me scroll down a little bit more. 82. And then go page 3, scroll all the way down. Save all. So I got 115. The average price is $29,500. So you have to go page by page. And then save all, save all, save all, right? So this is a pretty accurate comping. This is 90 days worth of sold data. And ignore the average price because like I said, you see these are houses that sold and they got probably mislabeled as land. Or maybe they're doing a new construction with it. So you want to ignore average price and you want to really focus on median price. So let's go back to the original, right? And let's look at some of these properties. Let's look at for sale. And let's do it. Let's remove the 90 days. When you're looking for properties, you always want to comp it on properties that have the same dimensions. If it's a quarter acre, you want to put a quarter acre. If you're looking for an acre, do it for an acre. If you're trying to compare two properties and one's 2 acres and one's 1 acre, and you don't know what size, you could use the median price per acre, right? So always try to comp it based off similar attributes in similar location. And if they have utilities, there's going to be a different price point too. So I'm going to scroll down here. There's 120. Let's remove the entire filter altogether. Apply. So there's 128 listings here. So I'm going to go to the Pebble app or Chrome extension, and I'm going to scroll all the way down. Right, save all, and then go to page 2. Scroll all the way down. Save all. Page 3. Scroll all the way down. Save all. Page 4. Scroll all the way down, and that's it. Save all. So the average median price, the average price is $39,000 and the median price is $35,000. You want to base off the median price, and you want to use that 90-day sold price to use your comping. So the 90-day sold price, if you remember, is $29,000. So our goal is to find a listing that's lower than $29,000. So the way you'll do that is you go price, and you put maximum $29,000. And then we're going to start looking at properties. So there's some good outliers here. So this one's 29, this is 28, this is 25. I know this area pretty well, and I believe this area has wetlands. So the reason I did Lee County specifically is because they have addresses, and I could look at the flood zone. So I'm gonna go to land ID. I'm going to sign in for the Discover map. Come back here. Let's use this one. Let's get the address here. They did a price cut. So you want to copy this. Copy. You want to paste. Okay. And this is why the price is cheaper. I can already tell. You see, it's in a FEMA flood zone, and it has wetlands. Right? That's why it's $25,000. That's why it's cheaper. It's in a wetlands and a flood zone. Let's look at this one. It might have the same case. So you want to copy it because these are way below the outliers. Look, flood zone, wetland. So when you look at cheaper prices, that's why you have to look at these different things. That's why you took the course, because you want to make sure you don't buy a lemon, because this has a wetland flood zone. Let's go back to this one, 29,000. Copy, paste. Not bad. It's close to, let's see, it's close to wetlands, but it's not on a wetland map, right? Very, very close. You still might have a problem here because if there's an endangered species like burrowing turtles, they might have migrated to these lots here. And they're fairly protected. They cost like $5,000 to like $8,000 to remove, depending on who you use to remove them. They're very expensive to remove. That's per animal too. So it's $29,000. You have to be very aware of that. But let's look at another thing. It's pretty clear, so a clearing cost won't be that bad. It's a very, very clear property. Another thing you have to look at is how many days on Zillow. It's only been on there for 18 days. Not bad. So most likely they're not gonna try to reduce their price if you talk to them. They're probably not gonna do a price reduction if you try to negotiate with them because it hasn't been on the market for long and they have a lot of views so far. You have 85 views in 18 days. That's not bad. But look at this property, right? It says prime lot. Let's see what might be wrong with it. It doesn't have anything in the description. It has 54 views in 3 days because it's $22,000, right? Let me skip this one because it has a weird east of OF. I don't know what that means. This might be listed incorrectly. But let's look at this $25,000 one. I don't know why it has this. It has 135 views in 2 days. Very cheap. Nothing wrong. So let's look at the street view. Always go out there, but it has a decent amount of vegetation, right? So it might cost like, $5,000 to remove. It's pretty level to the road, right? This looks like a busy road. That's my only knock for it. The neighbors have older houses, so you don't have to put a lot of fill. Like, look at the fill, right? You have to probably put as much fill as these guys. This guy right here, they didn't put a lot of fill for him. So you might not need a lot of fill for the area. Always try to look at different angles because the date's, a year old from this recording. So they usually update it a lot. I'm not trying to move the mouse a lot, but when you're looking at the property like this, you really want to make sure that the vegetation is not like trees like you see here. It gets more expensive when it's like trees, these pines. You really want to make sure it's a lot more clear than this. This is not bad because it's mostly bush. You always want to look at different angles too, right? Always look at different angles, and then maybe you want to use Bing Maps. So Bing Maps gives you the ability to look at different angles. So I'm going to go Bing Maps. And they're not as good as Google for the most part, but they have a bird's eye view. And this one, they don't give you the bird's eye view option, right? No, they don't. So they don't, in this example, they don't give you the bird's eye view. But you can use Bing Maps, but these are a lot older. You can tell right away. This was made in 2015. This house was made, these houses are a lot older. They look pretty new, but they're pretty old because you can tell right away it says 3/5/2015. In the upper right hand corner, you can see when they took the picture. Or we look at the date they took the picture. So this is old. I'm going to go back. Let's try it again. Let's see if they maybe messed up or something. There it goes. It did mess up. Bird's eye view. So these are usually pretty accurate. When you see bird's eye view, you get really good pictures. And let's say you want to change the angle. You see, that's why it's cool. You can change the angle. You can see it from the back end of the vegetation. And satellite, bird's eye. Yeah, like it gives you different angles. And usually the bird's eye is up to date for the most part. But you can see the back end. So it has a lot of vegetation in the back end. So it might cost like $5,000 to remove the vegetation. It doesn't have pines, which is very good. If it had pines, it would be a lot more. It really depends on who you use to clear, but let's say it's between $2,000 to $5,000 to clear a lot. So this lot is $25,000, and then you have to add this is if you're gonna build a house. 5,000, let's say 2 to 5,000. Let's be very conservative and go for the higher amount. 5,000 to remove all the vegetation. You're at 30,000, which is around the median price for the area at the time. So you're already up if you think about it, because you're including your clearing cost, and then you have to put for dirt fill. which is maybe 20 loads, and 20 loads at the time of the recording in this area, I believe it's $400 per load. So if you do the math, that's, $400 per load times 20, that's $8,000. So all in right now, you're 38,000. That's not including septic tank impact fees and a well, right? So that's it could cost up to like $50,000 just to get a nice piece of land that's prepared. So the cheaper you get your land, the more equity you're gonna have in your house in the long run because you're saving a lot of money. This is very easy to comp